the state. Please tune in every other week as we bring you a range of good information from specialists in the field to help make you more informed and living healthy.
Good evening. Hi, everyone. I'm Yolanda Santana. I'm an account executive with NetSense, and you are watching and listening to Trilogy, your hometown health show. Tonight we have Dr. Douglas Weiner, our board-certified internist and pulmonologist, our special guest tonight. And we have Teresa Hilton from Trilogy Home Health, as well as Albert Zambrano from Trilogy Home Health. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thanks, Yolanda.
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, we're welcoming Dr. Douglas Weiner and his new concierge practice, MD VIP. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for asking.
Of course. Would you tell our listeners just a little bit about yourself and how long you've been practicing in your area of specialty?
Sure. I have been in South Florida since 1990. I did my internal medicine training at Boston University Hospital in Boston, and I did my specialty pulmonary training at the University of Colorado in Denver, and specifically at the National Jewish Hospital in Denver. And I am a board-certified internist, but my subspecialty is pulmonary medicine, which is the treatment of lung diseases. And I can take care of all lung diseases, but I prefer asthma and COPD.
Okay. You have an impressive range of experience, over 30 years of experience earning your medical degree from, you mentioned already, Boston University School of Medicine, and recently opening MD VIP. Please tell our audience what MD VIP is and what initially led you to become interested in medicine.
Well, it led me to be interested in medicine. I think that's a calling that you have when you're young. And I think I knew I wanted to be a doctor from when I would go to my pediatrician way back when. It's just you have to be someone that wants to care for people, and if you don't go in it for the right reason, then it shows. And I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a medical school like Boston University and was able to do my training in the city of Boston at BU, and very fortunate to do my pulmonary training in Denver, which at this time and at that time it was one of the top training programs in the country. So you would ask me what MDVIP is. Well, like I said, I've been in practice here since 1990 and doing mostly pulmonary medicine, but we started to morph into an internal medicine practice as well, simply because pulmonary medicine really is what we would call a primary care-based subspecialty. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically, as a pulmonologist, I take care of almost every medical problem. I'm not scared to take care of people with diabetes or with high blood pressure, or obviously take care of a lot of people with lung disease. And so for me, it was very easy to morph into internal medicine. And as we were taught in Colorado, you're a board-certified internist before you're a board-certified pulmonologist, so you should be able to take care of people in all medical issues. And I was perfectly happy doing that, but over time, the practice of medicine has morphed into a practice where we would almost consider it like a conveyor belt, where it's a volume-based practice, and you are really kind of geared towards seeing as many people as you can for the entire day. And you don't get to spend the type of time that you really want to taking care of people. And I think that really results in not being able to take care of people the way that you really should. And that brings me to the MDVIP. And MDVIP is a company that was founded right here in Boca Raton 18 years ago. And they really allow me to be able to spend the time taking care of patients. So what I did is I took my practice, which was roughly maybe a little more than 2,000 patients, and I'm going to drop it down to no more than 300 patients. So when I have that few patients, it gives me the opportunity to be able to spend as much time as I need with the patients. So I'm able to sit, I'm able to talk, I'm able to get to know people better, I'm able to get to the root of the medical problems. And obviously there is a little bit of a cost that's associated with that. It is a concierge-like practice. And I don't like to use the term concierge because when you talk about concierge practices, you really are talking about paying for the access of seeing a patient, of seeing the doctor. And I don't see it that way. The MDVIP program really is geared towards health and prevention and being able to spend the time to make sure that you're involved in the patient's health and preventing diseases. And there is a cost involved. The cost is $1,650 a year, which in the grand scheme of things is not as much money as people would think. So I really think it's really a program that's geared more towards middle class people rather than the upper class people that most would associate with a concierge type practice. And that's really what MDVIP is.
That's true. Actually, in Indian River County, where I live, in Vero Beach, quite a few doctors have tried to open up concierge practices, and some have done so with great success. But they follow the same concept, the same theory of providing great access and good care to those people that really need it, and using the idea of prevention. Preventing falls at home or preventing ER admissions and things of that nature. So
exactly, and what sets MDVIP apart from other programs is there's an annual wellness visit that really is what the fee is paying for. We do testing that is above and beyond what any insurance or Medicare will pay, and it's a 2-hour physical, so it is going to be the most comprehensive executive physical that you've ever been involved in. And for me, it's a lot of fun to be able to go over the results with people. And obviously that's where home health care comes in as well, because if we find issues that we need to take care of some of the older patients in our practice, then a home health company such as Trilogy is perfect for that. Okay. To be able to come in and assist me in taking care of them and making sure that they're getting the kind of care that I want them to get when they're away from my office.
Okay, great. What other specialized services does your practice offer?
Well, as a pulmonologist, I do pulmonary medicine, and so in the office we will do pulmonary function testing. Okay. We do X-rays. Obviously, we do all sorts of blood work and blood testing. We do 6-minute walk testing, which is a poor man's exercise stress test. And like I said, we can do all that stuff without having to refer people out.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, I think we covered a few of the next questions here.
Yeah.
Are there any new advancements or modalities that your practice offers, such as, do you offer any technology or services that our listeners should know about?
Well, like I said, we provide healthcare. The whole broad spectrum of healthcare in terms of new technologies. As a sleep medicine, as a pulmonologist, I do sleep medicine, and the new thing that I'm doing a lot more of is, rather than sending people to labs for overnight sleep studies, we are doing home sleep tests, which we have available, which
Wonderful.
Gives me enough information to tell people, do you have sleep apnea or do you not have sleep apnea, rather than send them to a lab where it's more expensive, number one, and number two, it's more cumbersome because they have to get the EEG, they have to get the EEG pads put on and all the rest of the things that make it very difficult to sleep. And in reality, I'm not a sleep specialist per se, and when I'm trying to diagnose someone with sleep apnea, I'm really less interested in whether they're in stage 1 or REM sleep than I am as to whether or not they're stopping breathing and their oxygen saturations drop. If I have an issue with sleep, then I do refer them out to other people where they can do those kind of sleep tests if they're looking for the sleep issues that are associated with certain stages of sleep. Like I said, we do the breathing tests in the office. We do the oxygen saturations, obviously, in the office. We do a lot of blood testing in the office. And those are pretty much the technologies. Things really haven't really changed that much in pulmonary medicine. That there are new technologies that do that.
Well, you also can subscribe portable concentrators.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we do the oxygen.
Technology.
Unfortunately, we do work with DME companies where we're able to provide oxygen therapy. And the new thing nowadays is the new portable oxygen concentrators, which some of them are as light as, I think, 2.5 pounds or 3 pounds, and provide anywhere from 2 to 4 hours of oxygen before the batteries have to be replaced or charged, rather than the big cumbersome tanks that you see people wheeling
Wheeling
behind
around,
them.
yeah.
Exactly.
No more stigma.
Mhm.
They can carry it around with them.
That's nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
It's great for patients.
It is.
sure.
It's so much easier.
It's much more
Quality of
convenient.
life
Absolutely,
improves.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so how can anyone get an appointment? Do they need a referral? Can they walk in? Do they need to call?
Well, we don't do walk-in appointments per se. You do need to call and make an appointment. Whether you need a referral really depends upon your insurance.
Right.
There are some insurances where you do need a referral, in which case then we do need to get that from the primary care provider. But in those instances where you don't need a referral, you can just simply call the office number and we'll get an appointment to see you. And the nice thing, I said, you want to get back to MDVIP, the one thing about MDVIP is they get seen either the same day or the next day for emergency appointments. So it's very convenient for the patients, especially for younger people who, when they need to get seen, they work. They can't afford to have to wait a week or two to get seen. They can call and get in. And we do have two offices. My main office is now in Coral Springs, and the number is 954-340-1992. And I have another office in Tamarack where I'm there one day a week, and my office number is 954-720-6166.
Great. Okay, perfect. I have a few more questions, but I'm going to go ahead and take a break. And right after the break, we'll continue. Again, you're watching your Hometown Health Show, and this is Dr. Douglas Weiner, and with Trilogy Home Healthcare. We'll be right back.
Let's all welcome a new sponsor to the show. It's AMP2 TV, the first and only internet production company that's truly plugged in. When you're looking for a full-service internet TV radio production company, discover AMP2 TV, a full-service production company that can provide all streaming videos in studio or remotely. They offer web page development, and they use all the latest platforms to help make all your business selling points more powerful. They can do remotes or live radio streaming as well as tape productions for social media platforms and television. AMP2 TV can handle all of your television needs, including closed caption for a perfect on-air telecast. Choose from a variety of creative TV and radio packages or visit one of their many studios to get your creative juices flowing. Come and see why AMP2 TV works with many major companies including Comcast, Bravo, and Fox 29, as well as individuals and businesses of all types and sizes. To see samples of their work or to find out more, visit their website at amp2.tv. That's AMP2.tv, or call them at 866-224-5422. Feel free to call for a quote or just a consult of how to put your business on a social media platform or radio platform, or just doing a show that is covered by all platforms. Call 866-224-5422 and make an appointment. That's 866-224-5422.
Hello and good evening again. This is Yolanda Santana, and you're watching your Hometown Health Show. We have Dr. Douglas Weiner, and again, it's sponsored by Trilogy Home Healthcare. We were talking about his specialty with MDVIP. He's a pulmonologist and an onboard internist. Could you describe how you work with Trilogy Home Healthcare?
Sure. As an internist and a pulmonologist, we see patients that are somewhat older at times and have medical issues that I think need to really get taken care of in the home. And so I'll need a good quality home health company to come in and have a nurse come and evaluate and have aides and therapists come in and see them. Mm-hmm. So if I see you in the office and I am changing a medication and I think that there's an issue with perhaps you understanding what needs to be done, because I can prescribe all the medication in the world, but if you don't take it right, it's not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is oftentimes very helpful to make sure that I have somebody that can come in and supervise the patient and make sure that, number one, they're taking the medication correctly, and number two, make sure that they're not having any side effect issues. There are patients that have issues with, walking or balance, and I need for them to get therapy for that. And they may not be able to leave the house to go to a physical therapy center. And so I'm able to call Trilogy Healthcare and ask them to send a physical therapist that can do therapy for an arm or a leg or a knee or an elbow, or do balance therapy for people that are having falls, so that you can prevent falls that would result in injuries such as fractured shoulders or fractured hips that cause a whole lot of pain and issues for older people. And so you need somebody like that.
And that's a good time to chime in, if you will, for Trilogy, and I appreciate that. But a lot of physicians are not like you, and it's in the sense that they don't look at the whole patient. So we appreciate the physicians that do. So even though you're a specialist, you still treat the patient as a whole as much as you can. And so if something is obvious, like they're having trouble walking, they're on oxygen, they're coming to see you, they're using a walker, or they have somebody there to assist them at their appointment, but maybe that at home, it might be taxing on the caregiver. So it's nice to have somebody that we are working closely with identify those patients that might need home health care. And that's when Albert will step in and try to step up and try to help out your patients from time to time. So we appreciate that.
Yes, of course. And Dr. Weiner, we have respiratory therapists
And
too,
respiratory therapy.
to help you manage those meds, like you were saying, patients that might have that challenge with,
and
understanding and maintaining their meds.
And that's what sets you apart from other home health companies as well, is the fact that you do have a respiratory component. And for a pulmonologist, it's helpful for me to know that I can do that if I need to.
Well, it's our pleasure.
Yeah, definitely.
That's fantastic. So, again, how can someone reach you after the show if they had more questions?
Well, they can get me through my office. Again, I'll give you the numbers again. It's area code 954-340-1992 for my Coral Springs office, and area code 954-720-6166 for my Tamarack office. And if anybody is interested in the MDVIP program, they can, first of all, they can come in as a meet and greet, so that they can come in and talk with me, and we'll set aside time so I can explain the program more specifically for the particular person, and they can get a look at the facility that we have. And Albert's seen it. We have a brand new office that we
It's
just
very nice. It's awesome. It's very nice.
we opened a week ago.
A week
wow.
ago. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's
Paint-
absolutely
Paint's still wet. It's
yeah,
still wet.
almost. It's
really
really
nice.
a phenomenal facility, and so we'd more than love people to come in and take a look at it.
Terrific.
And like I said, we have meet and greets, and we can do that. And I'm hoping sometime in the near future to start doing programs for my MDVIP people, in terms of maybe looking at, treating holistically, and with supplements and with certain vitamins for issues rather than medications. And
Right.
may start to do a walk with the doc on a Saturday, and just walk and talk with people. So it's a way of doing some exercise and getting people out and talking with them as well.
That's fantastic.
So those are things that we'd like to start, and I'm just trying to get this more established first before we start doing that. But those are things that I want to start to do in the near future as well.
It's very nice.
Okay.
Awesome.
Do you have a website?
No.
Not yet.
And
Not yet. I mean,
MDVIP works.
there is an MDVIP portal that if they join the program, they get to.
Okay.
The office does have I think an email address, but we have not yet had our website done for us yet.
Okay.
It's
I'm
a
sure
lot.
MDVIP would probably spin one up for you, right?
No, they have one for the MDVIP. I have my
Right.
MDVIP portal, and if you
Yeah.
go to, I think, mdvip.com and look for doctors, and you'll see me there. You can probably click on it and
Okay.
see the information there. But as far as my central medical group, internal medicine practice, pulmonary practice, our website, I don't think is up and running.
Okay.
Yeah, best to reach him is just use the phone number.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just curious though, how hard is it to get a sleep study done? And you say you can do them at home now as opposed to going to a sleep lab center.
Oh,
If somebody like me wanted to walk in the door and get a sleep study, what's involved?
You would come see me.
Uh-huh.
I would ask you questions.
Mm-hmm.
I would do certain screening tests to see if I thought that the likelihood of you having sleep apnea was worth doing a study.
Mm-hmm.
If you gave me enough symptoms of sleep apnea, regardless of what the screening studies say, then we would elect to do a home sleep test.
Are those symptoms such as fatigue or is there certain
Exactly. It's
That is
people will complain of
chronic cough?
Chronic cough keep you awake at night. Yeah, but no, you'd complain of not feeling refreshed when you wake up in the morning.
Okay.
You could complain of feeling sleepy in the middle of the day to the point where you wanted to take a nap.
Mm-hmm.
I've had people that I know they have sleep apnea because we find them sleeping in the waiting room where they're just
Wow.
waiting to come in.
Yeah.
And and
That's
people
severe.
and people will say, "Yeah, I fall asleep at my desk," or if people didn't keep me stimulated during the day, I would fall asleep. If you wake up with a morning headache, there's a good likelihood of having sleep apnea.
Interesting.
People that have high blood pressure, the number one cause of secondary hypertension, in other words, hypertension that's not essential hypertension, is sleep apnea. So people with hypertension, an awful lot of them would qualify for having a home sleep test performed.
Okay.
Right.
And that way you can maybe find occult sleep apnea. We do it for people that have high blood counts, because one of the things that happens when you stop breathing at night is your oxygen level drops. And the body's response to a low oxygen level is to make more blood to carry whatever oxygen you have to the body. So those are things that we look for to diagnose sleep apnea. And to set you up for the test is easy.
Okay.
It's just we contact certain companies and they will supply you with the equipment. You put it on, it transmits the information, and then you send the test kit back.
And Dr. Weiner, to piggyback on that, again, with our Trilogy RT, they can also help monitor the CPAP and BiPAP for you. And if the patient's not using it properly, if they're using it too much, stuff like, we can be the eyes and ears for you as well in the home.
That's
correct?
good. So you can make sure that they wear it right. I mean, fortunately nowadays with the new CPAP machines, there are things built into them where they transmit the information to the DMV
Electronic
companies, so
breathing.
that
Pacemaker.
and we'll get the printout that shows me, are you wearing the CPAP machine for how many hours a night, for how many days a month. And there are certain criteria that the insurance looks at to make sure that you're
meet.
compliant. And if you don't meet those criteria, then they'll come and pick up the machine.
Wow.
And the
And that's
new,
where the RT would come in handy.
exactly, to make sure that they're compliant with it. So that's something that would be helpful. I think
Yeah.
that send one of your RTs out for sure.
Definitely.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, great. Is there anything else you wanted to tell our listeners and viewers as far as signals to watch out for, as far as any lung issues, for them to come in or call and see a doctor?
Sure. Number one, if you're short of breath, you really shouldn't be short of breath.
Right.
So anybody that has shortness of breath that lasts longer than you think it should, I mean, obviously you may get short of breath when you catch cold or when you have when you're congested. But if that shortness of breath lasts longer than you think it should, then you should come in. It's interesting because most people who smoke will think that they're fine, but at least 50% of them probably have underlying chronic obstructive lung disease that goes undiagnosed until something happens and they end up in a hospital. And that's when we end up finding out that they have COPD, when really we could have been treating them beforehand, doing smoking cessation techniques with them, doing lung function testing with them, assessing their lung function and starting them on appropriate inhaled medications to keep them out of the hospital. If you're sleepy, like we talked about, if you've had a car accident, if you fall asleep at a red light, those are all things that are signals for sleep apnea. If you've been exposed to chemicals or fumes and you have shortness of breath, those are things that we look out for too. If you have a family history of lung issues, we can try to diagnose those as well, because there are genetic markers that we can follow, because there are certain people that have chronic obstructive lung disease where there's a genetic component, where it really is important to not only let you know, but if you have children, to let them know so that they can look out for that as well.
Okay, great. Well, you've been listening to your Hometown Health Show with our special guest, Dr. Douglas Weiner, our board-certified internist and pulmonologist with MD VIP. This is Trilogy Home Healthcare with Teresa Hilton, Albert Zambrano, and Yolanda Santana. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Trilogy Home Healthcare invites you to call our offices before making a decision about your home health and rehabilitative care. Different from other agencies, Trilogy offers specialized service that other agencies don't, providing exceptional care. That's who we are and what we do. Call us at 866-599-4959 or go to trilogyhomehealthcare.com. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.